get up and get some money. Money was never real in the first place. You're the person that adds value to everything. So the fact that you just let a little bit of cotton, a little bit of metal, sit here and determine what you're worth, most importantly, is what are you working for? Money. In a what? Capitalistic slave-built society. Oh my goodness. So
Y'all know the phrase where it's like always do good when nobody is watching. Can we talk about the things we do when nobody is watching? Because a lot of the times, the person that everybody sees isn't always the person you are. You know, the version of you that walks outside, that jokes around, that makes a post on Instagram every day, Snapchat, TikTok, or the person that says, "Oh, I'm good," even though you're not good. Then you have the version of you where um come home, close the door, put the phone down, and then you finally realize you don't have to pretend in front of nobody. You can be what you want to be. You can be the sad, lonely, depressed person you think you are. You see how I said think? That's the version I want to talk about today. Because nobody really knows you better than the person you are when nobody is watching. When nobody's around, there's no reason to perform. Nobody cares about how you look. Nobody cares what you're wearing. Nobody's waiting for you to say the right thing, the wrong thing, have the answers. Um, you can kind of just exist. And I think a lot of us like that. That's where we start noticing things about ourselves, the way we think, the things we avoid, the habits we repeat, the stuff you tell yourself you're going to change tomorrow, but you never change. And sometimes that version of yourself is the hardest one to look at because you can't seem to distract yourself with anybody else. We all have these things we don't show people. Maybe you're more insecure than you let people believe. Maybe you're constantly overthinking. You're not as confident as you look. Maybe you spend time scrolling more than you admit. Maybe you keep saying you're going to start something, then find another reason not to. You got goals you haven't told anybody because you're scared that they'll laugh if you don't accomplish them. Nobody sees all that but you. And sometimes that's not enough to make you feel like you're feeling yourself. I think the way we talk to ourselves matters even more than we realize. Because you can make one mistake and spend the entire night calling yourself stupid. You can look at somebody else's life and convince yourself that you're not doing enough. You mess one thing up and you immediately decide that you're a failure. But then, if your friend made the same mistake, you'll probably tell them, "Oh, it's okay." You'll tell them, "Oh, you'll learn from it." You'll tell them, "Oh, you're a human." Why don't we give ourselves that same grace? Why are we so understanding to everybody else but so cruel to ourselves? This is the habit nobody sees. The truth is, the people, the life people eventually see is usually built by what happens when nobody is watching. Nobody sees you practicing. Nobody sees you learning. Nobody sees you getting it wrong 10 times before you finally get it right. Nobody's here to see those things. Nobody here to see you make that progress. Nobody sees what you're not choosing to do, something that would have set you back. Nobody sees the boring work. That's fine. Who cares? Because not everything needs to be an audience. Some things are supposed to be quietly built. Because ask yourself this: who are you without attention? Because that's something I've been thinking about. Who are you when nobody is giving you attention? Who are you when nobody likes your posts? Nobody compliments me. Nobody checks on you. Nobody tells you you're doing a good job. Can you still be proud of yourself? Because if confidence depends completely on somebody else's reaction, you giving them control over how you feel about yourself. That's a dangerous place to be stuck in. That's a dangerous place to live in. It's validation. You're seeking validation. I'm not saying that one is wrong. You can want validation, of course. Everybody want to be seen sometimes. Everybody wants to somebody to say, "I'm proud of you." That's human. That's the human in us. But there's a difference between wanting somebody to recognize your worth and needing somebody else to give you your worth. Sometimes you got to be able to sit down and still know that, hey, at the end of the day, I'm still worth something. Even when nobody is clapping, even when nobody notices, even when nobody understands what you're trying to build, what you're trying to work towards, you need to understand that, hey, I'm still worth it. Because the biggest work you can do isn't changing the person everybody sees. Maybe it's changing the person you see when you look at yourself. The person who procrastinates, the person who makes excuses, the person who gets angry, the person who gets scared, the person who gives up too quickly. If that's you, then oh well, that's fine. You don't have to hate that version of yourself. You just have to be honest with it. You got to know that it's there. Because you can't improve something you constantly pretend doesn't exist. That's the first biggest step. Is acknowledgement, realizing what's going on. Some of y'all probably watching this alone right now. And maybe this is your reminder to be honest with yourself. Don't do it for the Instagram. Don't do it for the TikTok. Not for your friends. Not for your family. Do it just for you. Do it for you. Do it for Dwayne. Say it with me. Do it for Dwayne. Whatever your name is, do it for Dwayne. And ask yourself one thing you're proud of. Ask yourself, why are you avoiding? Ask yourself what you've been wanting to change. And then actually do something about it. Not everything tonight, just something. Something. Because eventually the person nobody sees becomes the person everybody sees. The habits you build privately show up publicly. The work you do quietly eventually becomes the result people ask you about. The person you become when nobody is watching, that's the person you're really building. So stop trying to worry about looking like somebody, like you're becoming somebody. Become somebody. Even if nobody sees it. Even if nobody knows what you're doing. Even if nobody cares. Do it because of who you're trying to become. Day 24 out of 120. Day 24 out of 153. This is the part nobody ever sees, y'all. Maybe this is the most important part. Progress over progress over perfection. Princewayne out, man. See y'all tomorrow.